Christians Who Drink Whiskey and Their Open-Minded Friends is brought to you by Funny&Amen. If you want to support this podcast and haven't seen any of our other content, head over to our page at patreon.com/funnyandAmen. For just $2 a month, you can watch our podcast a whole week early and see exclusive stand-up comedy that can't be seen anywhere else. For only $5 a month, you'll have access to the podcasts, the stand-up, and behind-the-scenes content, exclusive first looks at new comedy projects we're working on, and bonus, we're going to send you a t-shirt. Head to patreon.com/funnyandAmen to see all we have to offer. That's patreon.com/funnyandAmen.
Break out your yarmulke for some gin and tonica. Oh wait, you're Christian.
This man knows more. All right, so
this man knows more about Jewish headdresses than most people I know. Go ahead.
Welcome to Christians That Drink Whiskey and Their Open-Minded Friends, a podcast from Funny&Amen, which you can abbreviate F&Amen. I want to welcome Andrew Pochan.
Cheers.
And Sue Lange.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers
for having us.
We're drinking some Bombay Sapphire, London Dry Gin, distilled, and
only distilled, yes.
And gin and tonic, right?
Yes.
Yep, a little bit of tonic in there.
Cheers.
Giant tonic.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Sure. And bringing the gin.
Thank you for bringing us to your basement. I appreciate it.
This is so Wayne's World-ish.
This is so public access television that it's not public access.
I don't bring everybody to my basement in Kensington.
Yeah,
and
pretty good.
And
you don't want to give that away.
And
you don't want to give that precious information away.
And not everybody will come. But
we're
did.
Here.
We did. We
Who
braved.
Else do you need?
We braved the bullets, and the traffic. It was a fun time. It was a fun time. You have to have running shoes on to get through your neighborhood.
Some of the other podcasts we talk about the Lord speaking to you. God spoke to me, said, move to New York. We're doing it in steps. We got 10 miles north of Fishtown, the best neighborhood rated by Forbes in America. We moved to Kensington, so we're getting there. But as soon as we did, my wife's car got shot with bullets.
Oh my!
Wow.
When was that?
Literally like 6 months after we moved here.
Oh man!
And
That's
I
when
came
you
home.
Seriously moved to Harlem.
I came home and I said, Meg, we have to leave, and she was like, I grew up in Haiti, it's fine, I was like, that's when you married well, when she could take 4 to the car and still be okay.
Yeah.
She wasn't in the car, no one was around, but yeah.
Did they find out who did it, or?
Oh yeah, they were
your neighbors.
Because he was shot also.
Oh.
The dead guy next to your car. The 5th bullet was a human being. Okay, I see what you're talking about.
That's a Philadelphia story.
Story.
I like that. Yeah. Starring Tom Hanks
as
the dead guy.
or perhaps.
Or is the shooter?
Or maybe Katharine Hepburn. I don't know.
Ooh, yeah. It can be delightfully overacted.
So, just to kind of more introductions, because we're diving into like the deep stories here.
Oh yeah, deep. Yeah, it's very deep.
Who have I known longer?
I don't know.
I knew both of you at the same time.
Okay, so that would be me
the
at the
same
time.
Reading party introduced. No, but you knew both
No,
us.
I didn't. I did meet you ahead of the little short that we worked on together,
yes.
And that's where I met him. So I did know you maybe a year or a few months.
So Sue,
a year or a few months.
help me.
A few years.
We didn't rehearse this, and it's going to show.
Yeah.
But Sue,
as most of my work does.
Sue is a writer.
Sure.
Previously, one of her things.
Let's go with that.
You can't write this.
God, wait, it's only 5 minutes in, man. We're going to shit.
We're already losing.
Sue wrote this anthology, a short story based on a grim fairy tale of the 12 dancing
princesses.
I'm not.
You helping?
I've not. You know what's funny is that I
still have not read that.
I still have not seen the short that I shot.
It's too long. It's too long. No,
All 2 minutes of it.
It's that's the Grimm. The Grimm.
The Grimm's fairy tale is about a page long.
Yeah,
but my story went on and on and on.
So, yeah, but we know of Grimm's fairy tales. What we have, there's so many, like the Golden Goose, not right? Are they Grimm?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I get mixed up between Anderson and Grimm.
And,
Yeah.
and Aesop. Let's just let's
Those
include
are
him.
fables.
All
Those
the
are fables.
Well, there, come on.
But when I heard this story, and Sue wanted to make a short film about it, a book trailer for it.
The story, yep.
And that was our first project collaborating on together. Around the same time, I met Andrew, working for our mutual friend Tracy Schott, who I got to have on the podcast at some point.
Oh, good.
She likes to drink too.
Yeah. So I've heard.
So you've heard. So you've experienced.
So I've experienced. But I met Andrew. You were doing at the time coordinating and doing some stuff for Tracy in her office. But now we've collaborated on a number of times for you as a production designer, art director, and most recently, more often, as you directing stuff, such as Dust Nuggets, a feature film that you guys co-wrote, or you wrote mostly?
It's based off an Aesop's fable, actually. It's not. It's not based off an Aesop's fable at all.
Okay.
No,
Censor him.
Yeah.
Please.
No, yes, we
Could
co-wrote,
you
but
please
she
start
wrote the
swearing?
lion's
He
share.
didn't curse. That's called editing.
Can you please start swearing?
That's called. We
I
need
did,
you to edit.
if you noticed that. I did say shit once, twice now.
We need you to edit, so just curse whatever Sue wants.
Fuck!
Wants us to edit.
Shit!
We'll just have to curse. You have to curse, so we edit it out. But so Dust Nuggets is a film that I was privileged to shoot for you guys, and I thought, as comedy lovers, people who love to laugh and enjoy life, Dust Nuggets is like this wonderful project to like laugh on. For the three of us had a great time on set. One of my
Except for that one day.
2 days
One
for me.
day.
But I was faking it. Some of the laughs I was faking.
Oh, you're very good.
I actually laugh when I get nervous.
Oh, yeah. Is that like Tourette's?
So you're nervous now because you're laughing a lot. Are you nervous?
Yeah.
You've been drinking and you're still nervous?
No, I'm not nervous now, but when I get in uncomfortable situations and I don't react poorly, I'll like stand back, and the uncomfortableness of it, I find the comedy even in my own life. Like when Meg and I get into an argument, sometimes I'll see like it's a dead end. It's a dead end, and we gotta like backtrack to like somebody apologizing. I don't want to do it first, but I see this dead end, and I'm like, I just stop, and I just kind of start laughing. If she's not ready for us to back up, and it's got to be really annoying. It's got to be really annoying because she's like, she's trying to prove her. She's still trying to prove her
and
point.
You're not taking it seriously.
And I'm just like now laughing.
And you're probably not even laughing because you're not taking it. It's just it's more of a nervous.
It's actually I've taken it so serious that I've kind of role played out, like how far can this argument go?
Okay.
And it
to
does
absurdity or something. Maybe.
Yeah, and it goes to absurdity, and no one gets through. None of us, by me arguing my point and her arguing her point, we're never going to get to the point where one of us says, "Oh, you're
realizing the futility of the entire argument, and you're just like, okay, let's lay this thing to rest." It's
the absurdity.
Absurdity in this case is very Christ-like behavior.
Thank you.
To tie it back in because it's all very just like how but no, it's not really stretching it. I wouldn't say that because it's just like, you know what, let's just lay this thing to rest. There's no point to this, right? I'm trying to tie it back into the whole thing.
I know. I feel.
But I would say that's Christ-like behavior.
Maybe.
How
you're
so?
Right.
How
maybe
so?
You're right.
Well, you're almost like just okay. Forgive the situation. We're done. Let's you understood it before maybe somebody else or vice versa.
I feel like now that you're presenting it that way, I'm seeing a connection between Zen and Christ here, because that would be a very Zen way of looking at it as well.
All right, so let's
probably because you would see the futility of the whole thing before it would even happen.
You would not press your own position because it wouldn't make sense.
This is Kevin's show.
So this show is about educating the viewers, mostly me, on different kinds of alcohol and different religious and philosophy things. So when you say Zen like experience, explain to me like how that.
Well, not that I'm an expert at it, but I feel like Zen has to do with acceptance of the world the way it is, and not trying to push your own agenda so much. And I feel like that's the point that Andrew was just trying to make when he said it was Christ-like, at the point where you were at in the argument, where you sort of have a moment of clarity in this really tense thing that happens between two people that have a lot invested in the conversation, and neither one is winning at this point, and neither one is backing down, and one person finally has this moment of clarity where they laugh because it's so absurd, because it's not going to move forward.
Yeah,
and no one's going to win.
You know what's interesting? When let me out my parents for a second. Sorry, Mom and Dad, but when I was a kid, I would see my parents get into this argument that it was always about something that happened 3 days before, and it was like, you said this, no I didn't. You said this, no I didn't. And I just saw them go round and round. And as a kid, you don't want to see their parents argue. You know, it's like, are you going to go to get? You're like, they're arguing over like where to go to dinner, and you're like,
you're going to get a divorce.
You're going to get a divorce. You know, like,
because kids, they're so dramatic.
Yeah. So I don't. Maybe
so much.
maybe in hindsight they were arguing about that and nothing, or just kind of a tense discussion. Maybe my dad was hangry. I don't know, but I just remember seeing the cycle of argument and saying like, someone's got to break it. I don't even care if you I don't even care if you just say you can't disagree about what happened 3 days ago, what I said 3 days ago. Yeah. Just move. What are you saying now? I would just try to get them on to what are you saying now? And I didn't understand the importance of their words. So now Meg and I argue about what I said 3 days ago or not, and I understand the importance of the impact of that. So what I said 3 days ago is so important.
Well, I think combining your two thing, where you're using the word now and she's using the word acceptance and Zen. As a practitioner of Zen Buddhism myself, it's acceptance of the present moment, because everything is the present moment, because that's what it is. So you sort of see everything for the absurdity that it is, because all you are is just tangling yourself in this big ball of argument, your parents or whoever. We're just repeating that cycle over and over and over again in the present moment, even though we're talking about things that happened a couple of days ago or whatever. We're bringing it into this present moment, and you stopping all of this and saying we're not living in the present moment is the Zen part of it, saying no, we're forgetting our purpose here. We're here. We're here. We're here talking. We're here drinking and eating and discussing things. That's what we're here to do.
In this present moment, I'm having a tomato.
Exactly. There you go. That's the sort of mindfulness of it. So I am eating a tomato right now. Don't let me disturb you.
This moment is about the tomato.
How was it?
Is it a good tomato?
How is it? There you go. Good. See, there you go. There's Zen right there. How about that?
I think that's
so easy.
That's this moment of Zen brought to you by
Andre.
By tomatoes. It was all the tomatoes.
It
wasn't me.
That's true.
It wasn't me. I just pointed it out.
What I want to get back into this conversation, but I also want to address the fact that I had so much fun working with you guys, and so almost immediately after Dust Nuggets, we did another project together, which, if you're on our Patreon, depends on when this comes out, we're going to launch about the same time this podcast comes out, which is over here. There is Sue playing Meredith in a prayer circle with Robert Picardo, Bob.
Of Star Trek Voyager,
and of
Wonder Years.
Dust Nuggets.
Dust Nuggets.
Yeah.
Right.
We had such a good.
It all comes back.
Oh, come around.
It's all making sense now.
Hopefully dollars.
Yes, let's not cents.
Hundreds of dollars, tens of dollars,
Billions of cents. It depends on how you look at it.
So, what inspired? Tell us a little bit about Dust Nuggets. What's it about?
Do you want to go or do I?
Damn it! I guess.
Oh, it's so cute.
I'll do it.
Okay, and then I'll interrupt.
Yeah. Okay. Good. You'll correct me. Okay. So the movie Dust Nuggets. The Dust Nuggets is the band name, and what the movie is about is actually the band manager, KK Coulson. She has done some drugs and ended up in a coma, and we find out that story going backwards. So we go from the her being rushed to the hospital in an ambulance, and then we find out certain things. So she was in a pool at a hotel, and before that she was at this and then blah 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 blah. And then all the while that story is happening.
I love movies with Bubba in them.
Exactly.
The Bubba is my favorite part.
Exactly.
Of
The
film.
Bubba. You know, have you ever Bubba anything?
In film school, you took film school, right?
Yes, absolutely.
The Bubba.
They
They don't teach that in film school.
They don't. It's very underrated.
Well, you learn it on the job.
Well, it used to be yada yada before. It was yada yada when it was analog, and now it's ba 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 when it's digital.
Oh yeah,
so
you can hear it.
So
yeah.
you might have heard the yada yada speech.
Yeah.
So anyway, that story's going backwards. So that present reality is going backwards, but her life is flashing before her eyes, and that story is going forward. So we start from her being a child and finding various traumas and things that she likes, influencing the rest of the story as that's going backwards, one's going forwards, and they sort of meet up at the end. So yeah, that's really it in a nutshell. I don't want to give too much away.
Yeah. How would you describe the film? Like what genre does it fit in? Does it fit in the genre? Like what?
We finally decided that it's a comedy drama. So it has
Not a dramedy.
No.
Not to be confused
That's
with.
so last century.
It's more 2003. Let's give it its due.
Okay.
But it's
the last decade.
Yeah, we've been describing it as Dr. Seuss meets David Lynch.
Nice.
So,
yeah,
those of you who are familiar with Dr. Seuss, and those of you who
know
are
the
familiar with David
scheme.
Lynch, exactly. Yeah,
David
so
Lynch,
it's basically
rhymes.
Yeah, it's how the Grinch Stole Christmas with a little bit of Mulholland Drive in it.
Right.
Maybe,
Nice.
Like that,
What where did you guys both?
Oh my.
Oh man. Oh,
Every episode I fix this.
Okay.
This is a how-to video.
So-
It tells you how to do this while drunk.
Somebody there you go. Got bumped.
I did.
You weren't anywhere near the table.
It was me.
Someone's leaning on the table.
I'm gonna cut him off.
Where'd you guys start your independent careers in art? Because I know I know a little bit about your history more than yours maybe. You know, like there's Dubai in there. There's random stuff. I want to hear about.
Kiarostami. Let's drop some names as much as we can.
Who was?
Kiarostami.
Abbas Kiarostami. He's an Iranian director.
Under
Do you want me to just start and then I'll go?
Then
I'll go. Then I'll go again for you.
Why don't you start then?
Because I have so much artistic talent, I got to tell two stories, and you got what? One and a half, maybe a half a story.
I got my gin. That's
there you go. Yeah.
So like when you knew you wanted to be an artist, when was that? And
Always.
Yeah.
Always. I always was drawing or doing some sort of thing to keep me busy during church, and I grew up Catholic, and it's boring and tedious, and so that's where I sort of learned how to draw that in school, Catholic school as well.
He was doing characters of the priests
and of Jesus, and I would get in trouble. And
you did caricatures of Jesus
all the time.
No, the priest.
Well, of the priest too, but it was a different time. Yeah. It was, and that's a totally different story for a totally different podcast. But there are stories, and not for me personally.
Them too.
But yeah, I was an altar server. We knew we didn't know what was going on, but there was a priest who just disappeared one day, right? You know. And
it wasn't the rapture.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
It wasn't Hail Bob.
No. It wasn't cancer or the rapture. Either one of the two. So where was I going with it? Oh yeah, so I just done art my whole life and painting and drawing and everything, and I went into school as a painter, and then ended up disliking that, but liking the video and film courses I took, and it's more of a viable career choice anyway. So I went with that and went to school, changed schools, went to school in Pittsburgh, and the reason why I went there is because it had a really good study abroad program. So I studied in Finland. And I studied Helsinki, Finland, and all over Finland.
Hey, don't say hell in the program.
Oh, Helsinki. I get it. Okay. And it's just one L. It's just one L.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
H-E. That's fine.
H-E-L.
H-E single. H-E single.
Are you sure that's how it's pronounced? Maybe it's not pronounced like that.
Helsinki.
Yes, right.
For those out there. Helsinki.
Sheol, Sinky.
Exactly. H-E double hockey stick, Sinky.
Yeah.
Studied there and studied in Dubai, which you mentioned, and I was allowed to study under the tutelage of Abbas Kiarostami, who is an Iranian director who won the Palme d'Or at Cannes Film Festival in '97. Nice. So yeah, decorated he was. And he was a really cool person. I was the only white person in the class, which was a kind of cool experience.
Token Caucasian.
Oh, I was the token, man. I was token, only American for miles, and it was...
Did they need, when they were in the film school class, did they need like a token Caucasian to
all the time. All the time.
To get funded.
To be rude or...
No, it wasn't that. It was just...
What are the token...
white boy.
What are the token...
You know what it was? You know what it was?
Yeah.
Height. They needed somebody tall. They needed somebody tall.
For the basketball team.
They needed to tilt their cameras up a little bit more when I came into the frame. I shit you not. That's the reason why.
What do you mean
they were all short? All the males were kind of short and stocky and not very good talking to the girl.
You played the tall, handsome man.
Precisely.
Talking to the girl.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, what?
Where were you?
Go to Dubai, man. They'll roll the red carpet out for you.
If you're of how tall are you?
6'1".
That's good.
You're 6'4".
6'3". I'm 6'3". But if you're of a good height, 6 is kind of an average guy height. Maybe.
I'd say I'm average.
Yeah, if you're an average guy height, go to Dubai. You get, as an actor, you get to play the...
Go to other countries. You'll be taller than other people.
Yeah.
And people will... Oh, look at that. Oh, a couple inches.
You'll get cast a lot.
Look at that. A couple centimeters if they're metric.
Right.
Oh, look at those centimeters on
that guy.
You
got it. Wait. So people need to learn the metric system to go over there to make sure that they're tall enough.
On a basic level, yes.
Cool, okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, and then you'll be in films like that, man.
Moving on.
Yeah, to her.
So how did you? So writing is how we met. Now you're producing. Thank you for producing Kevin and Keith.
I'm still writing.
Yeah. But how did you start? When did you start putting the word to the paper?
Well, I used to be a rock star.
Oh, nice.
That's how I started.
Were you writing music?
I was. I started in songwriting.
Nice.
And I moved into essays, and pretty soon I was writing novels and
essays. That sounds boring.
Yes. Well, might very well be.
She's a very boring person.
What I only have the most boring people on my show. When you say an essay, like
nonfiction, like for magazine articles.
Okay, cool.
Like that.
So more hired writing.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, cool.
So I did that, and then I went into fiction, and then next thing you know, I'm a producer.
Yeah. That's fun. So is it fun?
Yada,
is it
I'm
fun?
A producer.
Why did you go into producing? Is it to get your writing on the screen?
Right. Yeah. It's because we described the film as David Lynch meets Dr. Seuss. Who in Hollywood is ever gonna produce something like that?
Yeah.
So
it's very unique. It
is unique. My writing has always been unique, and then there's Andrew. So you have to produce it yourself because you're never gonna sell a script.
You have to build your own. You have to build like some. Right. I think that what's fascinating.
You have to build.
What's fascinating about people like ourselves, like this. I've got a company named
F&Amen.
Amen. And careful, it's kind of taped in.
I know.
There.
I'm gonna fix the tape though. That's what
careful.
I'm fixing right there.
Well,
I made this. Give me a break.
I rigged it though, and
I'm allowed to break. I'm allowed to break this shit.
Taking credit.
I haven't been.
I'm just taking credit.
I hope that
I hung it up.
sign maker,
sign hanger.
Yeah, right.
So break.
But I think that's what's fascinating about today, and you had to. There's a Hollywood thing that's happening right now. It's like, what is it? Do we know what it is? Is it X-Men 5? Is it Avengers number 12? Like, then we know it has an audience. We'll fund it. We'll there's less risk. And I think
that's where the money is going to the movies that are less risk. I mean,
until someone like one of us, with our own unique perspective,
exactly,
look at
comes up with something that's out of left
Jordan
field.
Peele with like Get Out. And oh my word, look at that horror and the African American audience like and now like there's more and more of that stuff coming out, and I think that's where that's where the struggle we're in right now is to kind of like find our audience and let enough people know that our audience is the audience. Seinfeld, I was having a good time the other night watching a documentary about the Seinfeld show. Mm-hmm. And Seinfeld's like one of the hugest shows ever, but the networks were like, "What is it? We don't know." It didn't
take off until season 4.
That's always not just network TV, not just Hollywood movies. It's art down through history. Is the really phenomenal, groundbreaking stuff is so unusual at first that no one wants to touch it because there's no formula for it. There's no way anyone can say how they're going to make money with it. And yet it's the stuff that everyone loves eventually.
So it's unpredictable. It's kind of like I mean, it's like Cheers was like 199th out of 200 on its premiere episode, or bring it to sports. Tom Brady was like 195th draft pick.
Right.
Out of 200. Sports, like no one can predict it. No one can predict it.
And yet it ends up becoming the big moneymaker for somebody. I don't know who, but
yeah. That's the thing about Hollywood that kills me is just like they think they know what's going to win. And okay, Avengers and everything. That's easy.
Stuff.
Come
on,
do know,
they have their formula.
That's an SAT
and some
question.
Stuff. But what happens is they get blindsided by Blair Witch Project,
or Pie, something like that.
These things. And the hard part for people that are creating content, that's what it's called now. It used to be creating art, but
no.
The hard thing is that you have to believe in yourself and know that you're doing what you want to do, and maybe it will be one of those things that breaks through, but maybe not.
Yeah.
And you just have to say, but this is who I am and what I like doing, so I have to keep doing this. So.
Find a way to do who you are, what you are.
Right. And hopefully sustain it in some kind of way and not worry about whether or not it becomes the Blair Witch Project. Or just stays some sort of weird thing that nobody ever cares about.
That's interesting. I mean, I think for me with Funny&Amen, I've always, loved Jesus, and I've always loved film. But I never could quite feel myself like working on like a Christian film or whatever. I just never felt like it was like. And now I explain that as like because I didn't want to work on a dramedy. I wanted to work on a comedy. I wanted to work on like entertainment.
Has the comedy thing always been there too?
I'm really slow to figure out things. I'm really slow.
So
but
no, I totally am. Decided on a major in college, and I picked radio, TV, and film, and I went you kind of got led into radio at Messiah College. Alumni, go Falcons. And then I got led into video, and then the last semester, I took a film class, and I was like, oh my word, there's so much creative. Seriously, there's like
angels sang.
I wasted 4 years of college. And then I discovered film where like the art, where you're just like there are no rules. There's a little bit of story and there's a little bit, but you don't need to
So before that, it was photography. You said I remember you mentioned that earlier.
I've done so much. Like I think my history has been so much, but always kind of. I mean, high school I was doing this is the dawn of the computing age, and I was doing programming, and everyone in high school thought I would go into computer comp sci, and I was like, I don't want to sit around with the nerds. You know, I'm nerdy, and how do I get out of the nerd club? I'm in the nerd club. No offense, comp sci, but I eventually was like, and then all the Christian colleges had broadcasting majors, and I'm like, oh no, I can't go take a broadcasting major at a Christian college. I'm going to be a televangelist or help one out.
So you went to a Christian college. There was no other alternative? Is my question.
I wanted to go to a Christian college because I love Jesus. I wanted to learn more about Jesus. And Messiah College had like what I felt was the perfect situation for me because I had 2 years at their main campus, very, you might say, isolated in some ways.
What's that like in Carlisle, Harrisburg?
Harrisburg, Mechanicsburg,
yeah.
Grantham, Pennsylvania, which is basically like Messiah College in like 3 houses. And I did 2 years there, and then at the time their film program had you coming to this Philadelphia campus, which is across the street from Temple. And all my film classes were Temple classes.
That's what you liked.
And they always transferred over. So it was great. For me, it was really phenomenal because I, my junior year, started taking my video and my film classes. And I'm sitting there and be like, I'm going to change the world for Jesus. And
change the world for Jesus.
I
know, but I just like that statement.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a good statement.
Yeah.
Continue. We're interviewing you now.
He made the world. What does he change?
Yeah, wouldn't you be change the world of Jesus? Or like not
change
of
people,
Jesus,
people's lives. I don't know. Let's get back to that. But I'll tell you this story quickly. Is that in my first 101 class that I'm taking as a junior because of the way it all worked out with the transfer of credits. I'm sitting there and a bunch of us one guy I remember made this like really poetic film. It was a parable, as you say, to teach a spiritual lesson.
Okay.
It was a good film. Another guy in our class made this film about like hooking up and getting drunk and like vomiting all over his apartment. It was like,
guy,
it was very, very much more visceral. And
much more zen.
You could smell it. You could.
You're talking. I noticed you're talking more about that film than the other one. But okay, continue.
The best film.
Okay.
My friend Elle made. Elle made this film taking Barbie dolls, and the Barbie dolls like talked, and it was all about the taking advantage of women or the I'm blanking on the word, but all about like girls needing to look beautiful and needing to like fit into that Barbie doll thing.
Model.
And that was the film that like reached out of the screen and like touched everybody in the class.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, like, here I think I'm a Christian. I think I got the best story in the world, but she's the best filmmaker. She's the best storyteller. She's the person that figured out a message that maybe I'm a guy. I wasn't thinking about the that female perspective, but she created art.
She created your own bullshit to get to you. Right there at the heart.
My bullshit of thinking that my story was the best.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it is to me, but it's not to. So it's a very as a piece of art. Elle's project was by far the most superior, creatively and in a way to make.
To communicate.
The whole entire point of art or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's a language.
Yeah.
That's all it is,
True.
The language that gets through to us viscerally or subliminally or quite literally, or all three of those things that just right there to you. Is this the second half now?
This is the second half.
Okay.
Moving on.
It's the second third. Okay, go ahead.
So we were just talking about story cutting through.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Jesus or religion. What's your? You said you were from brought up Catholic, and that helped you increase your doodling. And Sue, what's your background? What's your religious background? Current religious situation?
I was raised in what's called Christian Reformed. That is the religion of Gerald R. Ford.
Ooh,
yes.
And Michigan too. She's
Yes. It's a Calvinist type denomination, Protestant, of course. And at an early age, like preteen, perhaps, I realized it was not working for me. I was very sanctimonious as a child.
Kel surprise.
Sanctimonious is like a religious word.
Very pedantic.
That's a portentous word.
I don't know. The vocabulary is coming at me so fast. I can't even know.
Don't hang with Andre because your mind will get blown.
Oh, I know. These two. Like, I have to need a translator.
For English.
Is Webster? Any of the Webster family still alive? They can help me. A great-great-grandson of
Daniel.
Webster? Daniel
Just
Webster.
have some bloke over there just reading. Oh, wait, portentous. PP.
Derek, tell me what they said. Derek's over there. Sorry. Derek, tell me what they said.
Yeah,
Why am I acting to be over there?
Portentous. See, pedantic.
I'm portentous. Am I right? Is that
Yeah,
right?
well, yeah. It's kind of
Pretentious.
the title. No, well, the title is
Right.
portentous of this program.
It is portentous.
It is portentous, yes. But
What's portentous mean?
and pretentious at the same
and
time.
yeah, it is pretentious.
What's portentous mean?
Big and fat, right?
It's clumsy.
Portly.
Clumsy.
Think of portly.
Poorly. And thank you for calling my title Christians that drink whiskey and their open-minded friends clumsy.
Portly.
Excuse me. Abbreviate that off the top of your head, please.
You can't. I don't
exactly.
know.
Exactly.
That's the point of it. It's a little bit
it's
comic because it's portentous.
It's verbose.
verbose.
It's verbose. A lot of words in there.
All right, so back to the sanctimonious.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so I was very devout, and it was very hard for me because I grew up in a small community in northern Michigan. Here, this part is very rural, and everyone was Dutch and Christian Reformed and basically blonde, and
you were brunette, and you didn't fit in.
Right, so I didn't fit in. But more importantly, everyone was very, I don't want to say very racist, but they were kind of cut off from the rest of the world almost. So they didn't really know anything but their own race.
Yeah.
And they're very Christian Reformed, and I felt they were really hypocritical, and it was hard for me because I was devout and I saw all these people that were sort of evil around me but very Christian at the same time. So I sort of lost my faith, and I really have never gained it back.
How old were you?
Have you gone to Lost and Found? Have you
Checked it.
Lost and Found for faith?
No, just found an umbrella. That's about it.
I searched the world over and thought I found true love.
But she was gone.
Thank you.
My dad, hee-haw, was like I had two. My mom watched Saturday Night. My dad would watch Hee-Haw. My mom would watch Lawrence Welk.
Oh my God!
Man.
You're talking about my childhood.
Oh my word! It was like TV. I was so desperate for entertainment. I'd be like, can we watch Lawrence Welk again?
I know.
Can we watch that Lawrence Welk content?
Yeah,
please.
Oh my
content.
God. That was like the most popular show with
oh my word
the world.
And Christians can love Lawrence Welk. There's nothing.
Well, everyone can. It's not the Christians haven't cornered the Lawrence Welk market.
No, but I'm saying it wasn't like Dukes of Hazzard, which had like Daisy Duke jeans. We still watch that, but
Oh my God! If Lawrence Welk wore those jeans, then I guess he'd be SOL.
Maybe he did. He knew his audience. He wanted to make a PG
it was mostly waist up anyway. He probably was not wearing any pants at all. You just don't know that.
For the close-ups,
that's what your mom was watching it for, just in case they went into a long shot and they weren't ready for it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
Mom.
See him in his boxer shorts.
Yeah.
So
if I'm lucky.
Notation all over.
So you lost. So tell me about the moment.
Musical notation.
Tell me about the moment of losing. Is there a moment of losing your faith
almost,
or like
almost. It was just sort of an evening where I was just. It was
watching
like a
Lawrence
lightning.
Welk?
No, it was like a lightning bolt where I had this heaviness. It just disappeared when I said, you know what? There probably is no one up there judging us. When you're a child that believes that you have to be perfect in order to get into heaven, it's a really, really heavy
How old were you?
I don't know, junior high maybe.
I was 12 when I was like, what
had the same moment where there's such a heaviness that if you continue, you'll end up being the Boston Strangler. I totally understand the mentality of the Boston Strangler. When you feel
was he
ultra religious?
Methodist?
No.
No, not a Methodist.
He was.
Maybe he might have been. I don't know.
He was a fanatical moderate.
What was your denomination? I'm sorry.
Christian Reform.
Was the Boston Strangler Christian Reform?
I don't know, but his problem was and a lot of these serial killers are ultra religious because they view the world through the lens of someone who feels that the world should be perfect, and if it's not, it needs to be fixed.
Little OCD.
Ed Gein was like that too. The guy who was the prototypical psycho was like
yeah,
that too. He
he's
was ultra religious.
He's exactly. It becomes very heavy for some people, and the only way to release yourself is to say, I can't.
Yeah,
I mean those are extreme examples.
Those are extremes. Let's be honest. There's in the middle, and in the fanatic side, whether you call fanatic fundamentalist or whatever, there are extremes in every
right.
Everything,
right,
but you're right.
A
heaviness of religion can. Some people can do that.
The point of Jesus Christ is acceptance and forgiveness and all this, but that message doesn't always come through in some of these
in religions.
They're very hypocritical and.
Yeah.
My mom was an extremely open-minded person. She grew up in New York. My dad...
You should have her on this show.
My dad grew up in Wisconsin, and he was from the family that was very devout and pious and unforgiving. And then there's my mom, who's from New York, who is very accepting of the entire world. Yeah. It's very hard.
Pious and unforgiving. That sounds like my childhood, actually.
Well, I mean, so religion, it's not actually Jesus or God that's the problem. It's the religion that's the problem.
Yeah.
Which is made up by people. So it's the people. It's the people. It's the dogma.
Right. It's the dogma. It's the dogma that.
So religion is people, and so is Soylent Green.
So yes. That is very funny.
Way to bring it back to films. Yes, I like it.
Funny.
Let me ask you a question. The question. Oh, so. What do you believe now? You kind of touched on you don't believe that there's a God now.
I believe we don't know if there is a God, what that God possibly could be. I don't think we can understand. I don't think the Bible is really going to lead us to what God is. I think Bible is a great document for the time period that it was developed in, but I don't think if there is an intelligence up there or something going on, I don't think we can define it. I think it would blow our minds.
You don't think that wisdom came from the Bronze Age? Is basically what you're saying. The wisdom that is going to transcend time. It's not transcending time. You're saying it's good for it's good for when it was.
Right.
We should have moved on and we didn't.
But I think we have, but nobody wants to admit it.
So what do you move on? What do you move on to? What do you move on to? What do you move on to from the? Well, the Bronze Age. Well, there was the Bronze Age, which was the basis for Christianity. The Old Testament, and then you have the
Western civilization. I mean, it predates
the Rome.
You're talking 4,000 years before Christ would be Bronze Age.
Yeah, but I'm saying, so that's...
We don't really know the timetable of Adam and Eve. We really don't know what...
Yeah, but there are people, there are Christians that would debate that.
Yeah. There's a lot of other people that debate
call it June 1st, 6,000 years ago.
Right, correct. And we won't
even though June didn't exist 6,000 years ago, but okay.
Well,
the Julian calendar was not established yet, but
what's phenomenal about modern science is that we can figure out where a planet is going to be in a few years to send a satellite by it.
Sure.
That to me is like
amazing.
Nuts.
Yeah, we can't feed people on our planet. We can't save.
I wasn't going to go there, but that's a good place to go.
Yeah.
I was saying so we can look back in time and figure. So it's interesting. There's this dichotomy of like. I think when talking about science, I think there's this dichotomy of science sometimes, where I see there's a great debate with Ed Nye.
The science
Bob
guy.
Bill Nye.
Bill Nye.
the
I knew we'd
guy.
get it.
Big friend of Robert Picardo. They're besties.
They are
shit.
No way.
No
Yes,
shit.
they are besties.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Bill Nye the Science Guy was my favorite show growing up.
Oh, wow.
But Bill Nye and I'd love to hear the two of them talk, because Bob is like he's pretty
Surprised
devout.
the hell out of me, man. He's
pretty
devout
Catholic, yeah.
We were talking about that.
And Bill is like a pretty devout atheist.
Oh yeah, he's
he debated this very famous Christian that did the Creationist Museum.
Oh, the guy with the beard.
In Tennessee.
Oh, I'm blanking. Christian friends at home, help me out. Yeah, somewhere down there.
Nice guy. Yeah.
But the one thing that's interesting about the I find fascinating about that whole debate and with science is that I really appreciate what you said. We don't know. Like there's at some point, it all comes down to like a belief, like the Big Bang, like a theory, evolution, a theory, Christianity, creationism,
A theory.
You would say a theory,
a mythology, I would say.
a mythology. Some would say
it's a mythos. It's a mythos. Absolutely, it's a belief system.
It's a belief system. I think that as humans we latch on to belief systems, whether we believe in something or not, and I think that's where that's where I feel like some of the conversation today is not going. Is that that like you believe that we should give more money to the poor? I believe we should keep it for ourselves. I don't believe that actually, but I'm independent. But I think that like we get into these like fights over stuff that we can't prove.
Yeah.
Like my parents, I can't prove. We can't go back in time and prove what my mom or my dad said 3 days ago. So let's start where we're at now, and we have different belief systems, and what can we do together in these different belief systems?
Probably laugh at how absurd the argument is. Just like we were talking about earlier. Just laugh at how absurd the argument is. Because it is. It's completely absurd what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're in a basement right now with lights on us and a camera, and we're talking for people who don't know us. Yeah. That's pretty absurd to begin with. At the beginning, it's only going to be people who know us.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's going to be as many people watching this that are on camera.
Yes.
There's going to be 3 people. We're lucky. We'll be lucky if there's 3 people.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Exactly.
Sorry what I said.
Until this thing takes off and makes us all. Let me tell you.
Yeah. It's absurd. I think that's, to me, that's why I loved hanging out with you guys, is because we're just like, we're making an absurd movie.
Yeah.
That's
the crossroads of our absurdity is our art.
Yeah.
You know, we could be whoever we are.
That.
We could be whoever.
The crossroads of our absurdity is our art.
That's brilliant, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So, but let's working with
We're
that.
gonna find art at the crossroads.
We'll find.
Yeah. You know what the crossroads are.
You're thinking too hard right now. But but
she's over here giving me eyes like I know what the crossroads are.
We don't like.
That's where you sell.
We don't necessarily have the same belief system, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter that we're doing these things. We're creating art as a result of who we are and where we are at the present moment. We keep bringing it back to this present moment shit. I
want to say this because like there's a lot of I love the honest conversations that we can have.
Sure.
For sure.
That's because you can be honest. There's not too many people on your side that can be that honest.
On this side of the table.
Let's be honest.
On the right,
there's not too many people.
On the right side of the screen, you mean?
Yeah, on the right side of that table. You should.
That's the
way you should segregate the table because it really is like that. You're the open-minded one, I'd say, as opposed to us being the open-minded ones.
I'm only here because. I said I was born again, and I saw.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? Yeah, tell us that.
I know my brother's born again. What is born again?
It's like
the born again is
born
when
again
you
squared.
Is when you realize that you love Jesus and Jesus loves you, and you're the hypocrite, and you're still the hypocrite. Where
keep going.
So you realize that like imagine if all the people at your church, Sue. The day before or the day after you gave up you lost your faith.
Okay.
If all those people called you one at a time, being like, "Hey, Sue," they didn't even know you lost your faith. They were just like, "Sue, I fucked up. I have been a hypocrite. You know, you in your mind, you're listening that one person who did that one thing that was so hypocritical. That was so not what Jesus did. The mythos version of Jesus or the real version of Jesus, whichever one he was, all those things that they said they were following Christ about, they were doing completely wrong. Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what? We're going to follow Christ by holding on to power, which is what a lot of American Christian politicians are doing.
The Christian right wing, yeah.
Yeah, they're holding on to power.
Bush.
Where Jesus said, like, I don't even want to be the king.
Yeah, right.
You disciples are trying to force me into being king. Right. I'm here to start my own thing.
Just to tell people stuff. Yeah.
It doesn't fit into your Judaistic idea or your Roman idea. It doesn't fit there because it's not about politics.
Either one of them, yeah.
And so I think that, like, for me, being born again was me being hypocritical towards these Christians in this church that I was a part of. And when things got so bad, when the shit was going down, and there were, like, secret meetings at my house while I was off on a job, and I'm like, yes, these things are going to happen, and things are going to change. And I was hungry for, maybe not my own power there, maybe I was, but I was hungry for, like, real financial, I was hungry for this, like, I had this dream of this beautiful church. We prayed rock and roll, and we got rid of the pews, and we could do, you know,
like
whatever.
Got rid of the pews and replaced them with chairs.
Hallelujah!
Oh my gosh, really, we're out there, man. They have wheels on them, maybe? Oh, golly day. Man,
you saw the vision, too.
It's a hell of a church, man. It's a hell of a church. A couple of motorcycles in there, too.
Yeah, they had to park outside, you know, but,
yeah.
stained glass and rock and roll. That's what I was into.
Oh, man, another great
Some
phrase.
hip-hop and some scratching. But I had this vision, and I wasn't the lead guy there. I wasn't in charge there. So I was, like, reeling against everyone who didn't have this vision of mine or was kind of stuck in their little way or whatever. And this group of people came in and said, hey, you guys are having... It wasn't just me. There's 30 of us there, and 30 people were wrestling for power. No one... We're all being hypocritical.
Yeah.
No one was saying, like, hey, what would Jesus do in this moment?
I would say, I'd say you're being egotistical. I'd say all of you are being egotistical, more so than hypocritical.
Well,
I mean, super up the word hypocritical.
Under the Christian...
Auspices?
Yeah, a rubric, maybe.
Rubric.
The vocabulary.
Syllabus. Under the Christian syllabus. Christian 101.
You guys, I understand syllabus, but, like, the rubric is something that I'm like...
You got rubric. You got this portentous rubric in front of you.
The rubric.
This long friggin' title. You're just trying to... What the is this?
The hypocritical... You brought up hypocriticalness. Like, that's when people... Look at the church.
Don't follow what they
preach.
What is being preached around them,
and what they they profess their faith.
Yeah.
But then they don't really follow Jesus's example or teachings or anything.
They're
just regular people like the rest of us.
All right, so like the rest of What do you guys think? Do you guys? So, is there a title you would give yourself now religiously?
Well, I'd like to say agnostic, just because I don't want to get in fights with people, but
you're an atheist.
I'm pretty much an atheist.
You're an atheist in terms. You're an atheist in terms of
the amount of cynicism.
The word the atheist means without a theology. You're without a theology.
Yeah.
So you're an atheist.
Yeah, I'm willing.
Not necessarily a non-believer, but an atheist.
I'm reserving judgment. I'm willing to believe anything that presents itself if I can convince myself to believe it. But I know, as cynical as I am, it would take a lot.
And you said Buddhist Zen.
Well, I would say I'm a practitioner of Zen Buddhism or at least Taoism. But again, that's just a way of life. So it's not necessarily a religion. It's a poor excuse for a religion.
All right.
In Western terms.
Yeah.
So, a more or less atheist in that regard.
What is there? In your perspectives, is there right and wrong, a.k.a. is there sin?
No.
I disagree with that. I think
good discussion.
I think there is right and wrong. I don't know who or what can. I don't know if there's absolute good, but I feel that if you hurt other people,
sure,
you're wrong.
Sure, it's amoral. Anything that's amoral.
It's very hard to not hurt other people every single day of your life.
Sure.
It's hard when someone, as a filmmaker, an actor, that's a good example. They all want to be actors, and they can't possibly all be. There's a million of them. Sooner or later, you're going to have to say, nope, I don't want you in my film. You're going to have to hurt that person.
Mm-hmm.
You have to hurt them, or is there a way to
There's
love?
no way to not hurt them because all they
because it's their perspective being hurt. It's their ego being hurt. It has nothing to do with you, even though you're doing it.
Yes.
You can't. You're inevitably being an asshole.
Yes.
You know, you inevitably create your own suffering, which causes suffering.
Do you ever choose to be an asshole?
I think that's
but that's true. But I mean, it's
do you ever choose to be an asshole when you knew there was an option to be a kinder?
I'm sure.
Because you enjoy being sadistic or something like that.
Probably.
Even on a small level.
Probably.
I think that's what's wrong. If you can see yourself being sadistic.
That's more or less evil.
Exactly.
That's more or less.
So there's no right and wrong, but there is evil.
What I would say is,
what's the difference?
This is what I'm saying. This is what I would say. What Sue is saying is right on the human level, absolutely. In human terms, there is things that will cause our suffering, aka us. We will cause all of our own suffering in our entire lives. There will always be suffering. Well, a meteor would end that suffering. So I welcome the meteor.
A small meteor.
I welcome the meteor. To be quite honest with you, but that's part of the whole even Buddhist thing. It's like the first. Part of the first of the four noble truths is we cause our own suffering. The last one is there's a way out of it.
Drugs or
yes, absolutely. It's alcohol. But without getting into that too much, there is that sort of thing on the human level. There is evil, there is good, there's right and there's wrong on that level. But on I'd say another level, I mean, even on a Christian level, you'd have to say there's God's will, right? You can't swim against that. That's what it is. That's
another mystery. That's another mystery. Can you?
But is it really a mystery when you're looking at the total metrics of it? I mean, you have no power over what God does or is. You have no power over that.
That's a very Calvinistic view.
Yes, but in terms of predestination and everything else, but really no. And I mean, what if it was more? What if it was more
what if it was less of a Calvinistic view? What if it was like a more
Catholic view? Mm-hmm.
Catholic view?
Catholic view? Why not? Let's go with that.
They don't go Calvinistic. They're very more.
They're more
Armenian.
They're Armenian. No, but they're more hypocritical because they say, oh yeah, we have free will. We have this free will over here, and then when something bad happens that they can't control, they say, oh, it's God's will. No, you can't have it both ways. You cannot have your cake and eat it too. Yeah. And that's the problem with really the theology, the sort of folk theology of it, where everybody's sort of thinking these things and just going along their lives and everything like that, but they're completely wrong, or they're completely being hypocritical and not trying to understand the fact that there is no swimming against the current. I guess you could swim against the current, but there's no beating the current, That's the way I feel. I know Sue feels the same way. I find it rather egotistical to be like, dear God, please don't let this happen when it's your will for it to happen. It doesn't make sense.
There are stories. There's also stories that point to lots of different things and can be used lots of different ways.
Sure.
But there are stories in Scripture of God changing his mind for
how about your life?
Because of prayers of people. And I'm going to say,
give us that example. That's interesting.
I don't know much about whiskey or
or God. Please tell us.
I'll write that out. I need to look it up.
That's fine.
Yeah,
we don't mean to
do
put you on
that.
this. But we don't mean to put you on
I don't know right now,
that's
but I know that I can Google it and let me come back to that.
That's fine.
And try to do a little video insert there. But what I was gonna say is that I think that like now having children and when I read scripture and I'm hearing a lot about the relationship, the father-child relationship that the scripture describes this relationship as, and I see my kids and I've got a will, and I've got emotion, and they'll interrupt that, asking me for things. And so I think that, to me,
asking you for things contrary or asking you for things for explanation. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going with your thing.
They ask you for things that you don't want to necessarily give.
That I don't think are the right time or the right.
Okay.
Yeah,
because you are an adult and you have learned a lot in life and you have more knowledge than they have.
Yeah,
and you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, but we're on this path together. I've got more knowledge.
Absolutely.
I've got more
experience,
wisdom, maybe. But so I've got this will that I'm on, and I'm trying to I'm saying no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to get a puppy. We're still not getting a puppy. We're
you heard it here, folks.
Yeah.
But they feel
we have a puppy that they've been praying and asking me.
Wait for the Christmas episode. You're going to see a puppy on this table.
Oh, there is a parable about now I remember one. There's a parable about this woman who goes to the judge, it's called an unrelenting judge in the parable, and she keeps asking the judge for this thing, and eventually the judge is like, get off my back. Yes, you can. Yes, I'm going to get this taken care of for you because I just want to get you off my back.
Yeah.
And the parable basically says, if you have that determination and that repetitiveness for your prayers, that how much God loves you, how much more will He
finally
let you get what you want.
So if you annoy God enough, you can get what you want.
That's good
Maybe.
to know.
I mean, okay, you could say, if you're persistent enough or if you're annoying enough, God will give you. But that judge is a human.
It's again, that's why the story. It's a parable.
I understand. I understand that, but this is the kind of stuff that I got as a kid, and this is the kind of thing that we'll just throw this under them and see if they trip and fall, and then they'll stop asking questions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
why I'm asking that question.
Or maybe they'll stop. Maybe we'll stop asking me questions. Start asking God questions. His annoying questions.
Fine.
Stop annoying the nun. Start annoying God.
Stop annoying any human being and start asking yourself questions. You'll probably find God a whole lot quicker. I tell you what.
Yeah.
And that's probably 99% of the atheist's problem is people. It's not God. It has nothing to do with God. Let's leave it out of it. It's the people. I can hate the Philadelphia Eagles, but I hate their fans more. And I have a good reason to. And it's the same thing with religion. It's tribalism in that regard. Let's put it on that level.
Yeah.
It is that. You know what I mean? It's just teams.
Yeah.
And I hate that team. Or I hate my own team. I don't want to be a member of a club that would have someone like me as a member. Kind of thing. What were you going to say? Well, Karl Marx.
Karl Marx.
No,
not
Marx
Brothers.
Marx Brothers, not Karl Marx.
Groucho
Marx. Yes.
I'll be on Karl Marx's team.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're gonna make a lot of money off of this.
I still wanted you to explain born again because
born
again. Wait. Born again.
She's tough one.
To me, born again means you were raised a Christian, but you were never really Christian.
You went astray?
And then you actually did find Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's to me what born again is. But
you lost it and you came back.
No, you never really lost it. You kind of never really bought into it.
Okay.
And even though you were raised Christian, then you're born again, which means now you truly are.
So here's my spiritual timeline.
Path.
Milieu.
Timeline.
Yeah, give me your path.
These words. I mean, like, come on, guys. I'm like, I read at like 11th
Your
grade level.
oeuvre, your spiritual oeuvre.
This episode brought to you by
Webster's Dictionary.
Online version. Because we don't use dictionaries anymore. My spiritual timeline, when I was 7 years old, my grandmother told me about heaven and hell and put me on the spot to make a decision.
7.
Sounds perfectly logical. Yes, let's keep going with this. Yes.
The rest
Flames
of
of torture, golden streets.
Eternity, and you're 7. You've had what? 4 years of cognitive experience.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Put me on the spot there, Grandma. Yeah.
You're not even sure. You just want to be a fireman when you grow up.
You know?
So
Exactly. I want to talk to frogs.
My daughter accepted Jesus at the same age, and decided on her own to be baptized on her own, but with a little bit of Christian teaching, So there was less putting on. We didn't put her. No one put her on the spot.
Less fire and brimstone.
But So I think at the age of 7, you can start to. Can you? I don't know. It's a good question. Can you make cognitive choices? Can you make deep theological choices?
Your daughter did.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
I think here are the moments. So at 7, teenage years, which you guys were talking about,
right,
and 40s. So we'll get into that. Maybe this born again thing is just a midlife crisis. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's see what happens in 10 years. Yeah.
So at 7, Grandma put me in the spot. Heaven or hell? I chose heaven. High school.
Cake or death.
Logical. Yeah, cake or
death.
Yeah, cake or death. It's
Cake
really
or
what
death?
it is. It's an Eddie Izzard joke where it's like he's like, it's a pretty easy decision, don't you think?
Right.
Between heaven and hell.
Or death.
You, cake or death. Cake, please. All right, give him
Wait
cake.
a minute.
You, cake or death? Death. Oh no, cake. Oh no, you said death first. No, but I meant cake. All right, give him cake.
So high school, you guys fell out of faith, lost your faith.
Middle school, I'd say.
Yeah, junior high.
I'd say 6th grade.
Same time. And roughly,
Okay.
I kind of like latched onto it and really, whenever all I heard about
Found
Jesus,
yourself.
So you went the opposite way.
Right.
everything I heard about Jesus, I was like, I like this dude. I think that's like really, I see the choices I'm making as not all perfect. 100%. I can identify as
Neither do I. I don't think she does either.
I can identify as the hypocrite, the guy that says one thing and does another. I can identify with that. We call that sin in the Christian world, and I need someone to like wipe that off my record, because it's there. I'm thinking about it.
I think that's key. I really think that's key. But continue.
Yeah. Let's talk about more. Yeah, we'll talk about it. I think that what so from then on, I was kind of in this moment. I discovered film. I didn't want to go. All the other Christians were doing the televangelist broadcasting majors. I didn't want that. I ended up.
We would totally not be friends if that.
Oh my word!
No.
I wouldn't be friends with myself. We ended up in this Christian college. It was a great mix of like theology for a couple years, and living in Philadelphia and kind of like meeting people that didn't believe what I believed, and that to me was like very intriguing. And having these conversations and being part of films that were like,
and somehow people weren't mad at each other.
yeah,
Those were the golden
no,
years.
that's not exactly true.
Oh.
Because there are people who are mad at each other, but for different reasons than
unfortunate.
religion or whatever, But I guess what I'm trying to say is that I found myself in this small church environment. I found myself to be the hypocrite. Like I was kind of reeling against the way the church was going. And these people came in. I felt they're gonna take care of. These outside consultants came in to kind of like help us get past this like big thing that was happening. And
Big thing that was a spiritual thing that was happening?
no, it was just like backstabbing and
gosh.
like all the hypocritical shit, And
No.
it wasn't me. I wasn't part of that.
Yeah. Because you were open-minded.
No.
No. He's being hypocritical.
This is called.
You were just pointing your finger.
You're pointing
sarcastic.
It was the beam in the other guy's eye.
Yeah, just look at those guys over there with their.
Look into his soul over there. You'll see that he has a lot of transgressions.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
And well, it's what everybody hates about church.
Right.
You should go there and there's a bunch of people like faking it.
Right.
And turns out that in this one moment, these other guys came. These other guys came in and they were like, "All right, we're going to help this church figure out its problems." And they were called peacemakers. It was started by.
But if a church was infallible, why would it have problems?
Blessed are the peacemakers.
Oh, so they will cheesemakers.
Cheesemakers, yeah. So these guys
are makers of any dairy products. But we get beyond that. But why if it's such an infallible thing, why are there problems happening? Is it because we're human?
What I'm not trying to. The infallibleness is not the. I've never heard the infallibleness is the church. I've heard the infallibleness is the scripture.
That's the hard part to reconcile everything together.
But I mean, you could take a couple pages out of the Bible, right? And it would still be pretty much the same document. So how is that infallible? But we're getting into it. Okay, get to your thing.
Infallible is the whole thing. Basically what happened is this other group came in and I saw them looking around the church and be like, well, they're going to obviously see the other people's problems.
Sure.
I can relax. I can go home. We're going to have a big meeting in 2 weeks where all the problems of the church are going to get taken care of. And
because that's what happens when you hire consultants.
There you go.
Yeah. So
taken care of.
So I go back to my company, Get Kinetic, this corporate film company I had at the time.
How old were you at this time? I'm sorry.
This is like 5 years ago, so I was...
Okay, so this is very recent. I thought you were talking about like when you were a college student.
40, yeah, this is like 40. No, this is like I'm at 40.
Okay.
And...
So I've known you at this time.
Yeah, and I go back to my company, and the metric I had set up for these leaders at this other organization, at this church, were, all right, the people coming is diminishing, the debt we're getting into is going up, and it's just the vibe is not really good.
Sure.
And I went back to my organization. Now that the consultants were going to take care of the mess over there, I had a little more time to focus on my mess.
Get Kinetic mess.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I looked up just the amount of debt I was in.
Oh God.
And it was 20 times worse than the debt the church was in. And I'm like,
and they don't pay taxes.
Yeah, exactly. But joke's on me. And because I love the language of comedy, I love absurdity. I was like, I believe in God. I said, God, that is hilarious. That is so absurd.
What a good sport you are.
But you're embracing the present moment at that point.
Exactly.
You're embracing the absurdity of life.
For 3 years, I'm telling this guy, I'm having like private meetings with this pastor being like, you see like the tenants going down and you see like the debt going up, obviously, like, so you're not steering this in the right direction. You need to have more faith and be bolder. Do these things like step out in faith. And it turns out that like for those 3 years, I was focusing on him and his organization, where I was a member. I was in the top 30 of church members at the time because there were 30 of us.
I was going to say the 29 members, right?
Yeah, but so that moment. To me was God saying was God speaking to me and saying, hey,
you gotta look at yourself.
I set you up for this joke.
Cosmic joke.
You are the setup, you are the punchline, you are the hypocrite.
You are the punchline. That's funny.
You are the hypocrite.
I wouldn't use the word hypocrite though. I would say you're the one that's not in a state of understanding.
He was hypocritical in that he was judging the church and saying, I'm
better. Look at me. Look over my company. Look at my company. Here's I'm good at marketing.
In worse shape. So
our church, we just make a video. We'll get out of this. And no, in a moment, my love for that guy that I thought was the problem shifted 100% because I realized that he, for whatever reason, he had emotional issues that were stopping him from getting to where to stepping out in faith. And I had the same things, but 20 times worse. I was like putting Band-Aids on all this stuff. So to me, that was when I said, I'm a hypocrite. I need forgiveness. I need to go back. And the part of this organization, what they do is they come into churches and they say, we're going to get all these stories. You get to come in a room, vent to us.
Okay.
And then we'll all get together, and the first person to talk is the first person that wants to apologize to everybody. Or to apologize to one individual. And to me, and this thing happened, and I was like, wow, I need to apologize to, because I'm over here just meddling in church business, and God's calling me to be a filmmaker. So to me, that was where I was born again.
Okay.
Moment of lucidness, presentness.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Born again.
So it's not like you were born again and then you backslid and were this horrible
I
person.
did. Well, I don't know.
You were
what's
person.
What's the measure of horribleness?
I don't know.
I didn't kill anybody in that period of time.
But it's you.
I didn't sleep with anybody's wife.
I guess
thought
it's
about
you,
it.
Using a word that you would use, it's you embracing the hypocrisy. Being born again, you can embrace the hypocrisy and be the greatest Christian in the friggin' world on paper, but in reality, you're not. You know what I mean?
I think maybe in between the two episodes, maybe if you renounced your faith and then you found
that's
it again,
what I would say.
That would I'd say be
born again.
But I think I did renounce my faith.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying
say it, yeah.
I'm saying I didn't renounce Christianity. I didn't renounce Jesus, but I did so accidentally.
You
know
fell
what I mean?
out of
The problem
practice.
is the human
you
mind.
fell off the bike. Is really what you're saying.
Yeah.
But the bike is still there. The bike is Christianity. You just got
deep.
right back on the bike and you wrote down.
Are we like at an hour and a half?
You wrote down
Hour
the
10.
road of righteousness.
Hour 10.
Oh, okay.
A special episode. You
But
know,
it's
there's two guests here.
Yeah.
You basically, I was just saying to her, you basically invited Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens on your show. You realize that, right? You do. And that's great. That's testament to you. That is testament to your faith. The sort of unflappability of it, the
infallible or inflappable?
Both.
Inflappable.
What's
well, inflappable?
There's
means
no flapping here, people. Absolutely no flapping.
Inflappable means like
you can't.
You're not going to waver.
Yeah,
You're not going to waffle on this. Well,
Right.
maybe you're right, guys. And then the
No.
next show, you're like,
No.
Jesus.
You're confident.
No, it's not that. That would be hypocrisy. But you're confident. You know who you are. You're born again, whatever that means.
It just makes people
it
laugh.
means something for you.
It makes people laugh too.
It's good, and it's a good story
It's
intro.
like F&Amen.
Because everybody's gonna
laugh.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's gonna be
This is expensive. These lights cost a lot of money.
exactly. Everybody's gonna be like, what does that mean? Well, let me tell you, and then let me tell you about F&Amen. That's a good.
Do I have this lady in the?
Please do it in win voice. I love it when everybody's like, and God talked to me. I was like, what does he sound like? He. I was like, you need to do better. If God talked to me like that, I would totally listen. I would totally listen. It's like, Andrew, I think you need to.
I'm gonna pray fervently that he does one day.
Oh my God! Please.
Snaggle tooth.
Please, yes, snaggle tooth.
Dear
please.
God.
I will settle for Huckleberry Hound voice. Or Quick Draw McGraw. Any of the Hanna-Barbera cartoons, I would settle for.
Yeah.
But I haven't gotten that yet. And you know what? I mean, that's a luxury that you have, I suppose. And good for you.
So in your moments of Zen, do you listen for a voice, or do you hear a voice?
No.
Or...
Why do you need a voice? Why do you need?
I don't think Zen
Zen
is not looking for God.
No, it's not. It's looking for nothing.
Yeah.
Because there is nothing. There's no point.
But you meditate, right? I think you meditate.
Absolutely, every day. Twice a day.
And when you're meditating, is it what do you?
I think to me personally,
Twice a day. That's more religious than I am about.
Oh well, I
meditations.
wouldn't call it religious. I would call it.
I'm saying
though that religion
rhythm.
is
The rhythm of the more rhythmic.
Right.
Maybe more rhythmic than religious, in your opinion.
Okay. That's fine. But I subscribe more towards Eastern religions because it's about living in accordance with nature, which
that's why you're so regular with it, because it's a subscription.
Sort of, yeah. It's $20 a month. It's pretty good, I mean, it's gone up once in every 5 years. It's pretty good.
I think once every 5,000.
Yeah,
5,000.
Yeah,
it's a very old religion.
It's a very old religion. But what were you talking about with meditation?
The rhythm of it,
looking for an answer. No, you're not looking. You're not looking for anything.
You're not looking for someone to tell you anything.
No, why? Why do that? Why embrace the cheapness of human interpretation of nature? Nature's far grander, far bigger. God is far grander, far bigger than what we can understand. It's like trying to teach an ant how a monitor works. It's just not going to work. You know what I mean? So it's almost experiencing it to understand it, as opposed to I need a voice to tell me, oh, you need to go to Target today.
Yeah.
Oh, you need to go to this job because they'll give you an interview and everything like that. It's cheap.
Yeah.
Why call upon God, or Godhead for something like that? This supreme vibration, this universe. That why call upon it for anything? Because it's still quite whatever we want is sort of quite cheap in comparison to
what's there.
Yeah, to nature, and the accordance of nature is so much bigger. That's what I was talking to you about, where with prayer, it's very egotistical to think that I could change God's mind or ask or annoy it or whatever to change its mind to make my Aunt Gladys live 2 more weeks. It's selfish, you know what I mean? Aunt Gladys had a time period, she clocked out, all right? You know what I mean? She's going to die. Yeah. You need to understand that. You're trying to understand it on the level of a human being, which you can't. You have to understand it on the level of God to truly understand death. And I mean, that's sort of a luxury to be able to sort of hear that and understand that. But through meditation, that's what you do. You're not asking something. You're not looking for anything. You're looking for this sort of nothingness that will settle you to the point where you can understand something. You asking questions is already hypocritical, to use a word, or
missing the point.
Pointless, yeah. It's just like, no, asshole, sit and listen. Listen to nothingness. It will tell you what you're thinking or how to interpret it. Eventually, that's what Gandhi did with the Salt March. He meditated for 2 straight weeks, and then and then after 2 weeks he held up salt, and then we're going to march to the sea, and then liberated India that way. That's just one example, and that is an extreme example, but it sort of illustrates the entire point of listening as opposed to asking.
Listening. We end again on listening. Thank you guys for coming.
Cheers.
I really enjoy hanging out and being honest and open and
I love conversation.
I love the forum. I love that we can talk together. We're still cool with each other. We'll still create things together.
We're not friends anymore.
It's not going to. It might affect a few things.
Yeah.
But
no,
but
it's
your
not,
contract. I'm not sure.
Exactly. Yeah, you might make less money, or you might make more money. Who knows? But we still appreciate each other on the human level. We're still here communicating. We're still talking. I believe we're all sort of talking to ourselves. I believe we're God experiencing things. But that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
That's more Hindu actually, but that's another story. But
it's a different podcast.
That is a different podcast.
We're just jumping from religion to religion, east and west.
Yeah.
Old and new.
Entire globe.
Exactly.
We're very global on this show.
Yeah, I'm glad we could talk it out.
So guys, thanks for joining us on Christians that drink whiskey and their open-minded friends.
Or gin in this case. But.
And gin.
Yeah, and can you pass me that bottle?
Oh yeah, it's cool.
I want to take it home.
Okay, yeah.
It's got 2 shots in it. That's for the ride home.
Right.
Check out our Patreon channel where you'll hear more with Sue Lange and Andrew Pochan, my good friends. Patreon.com/Funny&Amen, or check out our website funny&amen.com.
Can I ask you? Is it Funny and Amen with and using
An ampersand?
that symbol?
Almond.
Or is it A-N-D?
So that's interesting. I've always found brands that are hard to describe.
Easily.
It's funny and A-N-D. And Sue brings up a good point. Read below or just click the link. No one types in anything anymore.
Siri, Funny and Amen. There we go. All right.
F&Amen.
F&Amen. F&Amen.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.